Both during and after the crisis of the 3rd century, the armament of the Roman military began to change drastically, with the late military ultimately coming to resemble something totally unlike its 1st and 2nd century counterparts. It's not entirely certain when the design of Roman infantry helmets began to change from the well-known Gallic and Italic type of helmets into the ridge helms that the dominant infantry wore, but excavations conducted at Dura Europa suggest very strongly that Sassanid cultural influences began to play an increasing role in the design of Roman headgear during the 3rd century. Dura Europus was a Roman fortress town located on the Roman-Sasanian border, and between 255 and 257, the Sasanians laid siege to the fortress and destroyed it. One of the most prominent sites at this location, once the archaeologists got to it, is Tower 19, where a battle took place underground while the Sasanians were attempting to mine the tower and the Romans were counter-mining. One of the helmets recovered in this mine was probably Persian in origin, with many believing it comes possibly from Mesopotamia or possibly from Afghanistan, but it's not entirely certain. The Dura Europus helmet is bipartite, which means that the bowl of the helmet is formed by 2 pieces of iron bolted together to a central strip 30 millimeters wide and 3 millimeters thick, with that band eventually rising into a V at the apex of the helmet. At the top of the helmet is a spike, about 50 millimeters in length, and a piece designed as both a nasal and eyebrow guard was attached by 4 rivets, and this is arguably its most prominent feature. Additionally, there was an aventail descending from the helmet to protect the wearer's neck. Now, it's believed that styles like this influenced later Roman helmets, specifically the ridge helmets, which come in 2 main styles, the Intercaissa style and the Berkesovo style. The Intercaissa style takes its name from a site in Hungary where about 20 of these were discovered. All of these share common features, which suggest they had some influence from Persian style, but which also suggests that they drew influence from helmets originating from the steppe as well. Ear protection doesn't really appear to have been stressed, as the bowl and cheek pieces both have semicircular holes in them which expose the ears. And, despite the material having rotted away whilst being buried, these helmets, as we know from other evidence like artwork, had leather sewn in around the cheek plates and on the underside of the helmet. And it appears that this leather was the primary means of attaching the cheek pieces to the bowl, the actual attachment being leather or linen straps, probably, as hinges have not yet been recovered. Now, they all had ridges attached to the top which helped to connect the helmet together, and in this respect, they all appear to have been uniform, minus the size of the actual ridge, which varied. One style stands out from the others, though, and that is the Augsburg helmet, and it stands out because it has a nasal guard, something which doesn't appear to have been common on this type of helmet. It's not clear how all of this comes into the Roman military, but like so much else in this period, it's probably due to Persian and steppe contact and exchange. The other major type of helmet was the Berkesovo type, which was significantly more ornate. This has led some professionals to speculate that these were actually cavalry helmets, although some would disagree and argue the opposite was the case, that the Intercaissa helmets were used by cavalry, not infantry. Berkesovo helmets all appear to have nasal guards, and in that sense they were all similar to earlier Persian helmets, not only in terms of the size of the nasal guard, but also in terms of the size of the pieces. Now, these helmets don't expose the ears, they cover them completely, and because of that, the cheek plates were significantly larger, essentially extending all the way down the neck, but they were attached in a similar manner, with straps. Many surviving examples of these helmets were adorned with jewels or colored glass, a practice which possibly came in from the Near East, but which also has antecedents on the Eurasian steppe. So again, there is that cultural diffusion aspect to the military equipment of this period. So, that's a brief introduction to the 2 main types of late Roman helmets. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you're all looking forward to the next one.